Her name was Sister Mary Concepta Lynch, a talented singer, a musician, but primarily an artist. She was to spend every spare moment for 16 years decorating an oratory, which had just been built in the convent grounds in gratitude for the peace that followed the First World War. A plain concrete chapel dedicated to the Sacred Heart, hardly a noticeable building, until in 1920 Sister Concepta decided to embellish it. Her fantastic birds and beasts belong to no identifiable saga, yet the chapel is an imaginative unit, one woman's private dream, Celtic exuberance in the service of Catholic devotion. Sister Concepta worked in the oratory all of those 16 years, indulged to an extent by her community, helped a little by friends, but mostly alone in the cold, unheated chapel. Only a fatal illness was to terminate her work.
The chapel is a very small one, just beside the convent. And all I know about it, I heard from the older nuns.
Sister de Ricci, I know that you've been here in the convent in Dun Laoghaire for a long, long time.
66 years.
So you came here in 1910?
66 years. Pardon?
You came in 1910?
1910.
And you're now...
And I've never been anywhere else except on holidays.
Really?
I was away for 7 weeks once, after convalescing after an illness. And only for that I was away. I was away for holidays every summer, fortnight, but only for those, and in hospital.
Well, I'd never think you were 86 years of age.
86.
And you remember Sister Concepta Lynch very well, I suppose?
I remember her splendidly.
Mm-hmm.
She was a very lovable sister, and she was unique in her anxiety to give little surprises to the community. And she had great devotion to the little flower of Jesus, whose cause she did a lot to help to promote, our cause of recognition.
On Saturday mornings after the class, I would come over here with Sister Mary Concepta and help to mix the paints. I had nothing to do with the paintings. I couldn't do anything like this, but I was helping, holding the lather maybe, or mixing a little bit of black paint or colour paint in that way, but I became very fond of Sister Mary Concepta.
The images swirl and tumble, yet are disciplined into symmetrical patterns presented with authority and conviction. The vivid colours never falter into the garishness of commercial Celtic art. The images can be grotesque, compelling, or even humorous. Time and damp are beginning to affect the building. Cracks are appearing in the structure. The nuns can hardly afford to give the oratory the care it deserves as a work of art of national importance. Perhaps some form of state aid is needed so that the work of this dedicated artist will survive the ravages of time and weather.
She taught us a poem about the Celtic work and the monks and that, how they used to make their paints from the bark of trees and things like that, you know. But as I say, I was young in them days. I didn't really realise what would become of this church, this little place at all. Like, you know, I didn't know when I was going to be a grandmother, I'd be standing here speaking about it.
And maybe you remember a little bit of that poem she wrote?
A little bit. It comes to me occasionally. In Celtic art, the monks of old did script with pens and ink and gold, bright colours too with skill and care. They did all come. I can't remember, something like that, but so long ago I can't remember the exact words, you know.
Oh, she had a most beautiful voice. Nobody that ever came here sang like she did. And she had a lot of friends in the musical world in Dublin, friends of her friends, and they came out regularly to sing for us. And not one of them had the voice that she had herself. There was a something, I couldn't tell you what it is, it was a feeling and emotion that I don't know what you call it, that nobody else has ever had, that I have said singing.
I think what was most special about her was she had a very spirit, she lived a very interior life. She lived really for God, she loved God. Actually, when she would be singing or playing, before she'd start, she'd always say that she could play every note to tell God that she loved him, you know, that she meant every note. Saying when she played the organ, she just offered everything that she did to God, you know, as an act of love.
The stained glass in the oratory is by Harry Clark. Distinctively limpid and gentle, it harmonizes adequately with the surrounding Celtic extravagance. Only the ceiling remains unfinished, yet its relative underdecoration is still sufficient to make one aware of being enclosed within a unified work of art, a glowing shrine, a Celtic tabernacle.